Hello, folks. Hey, it's Shooter. It is Sunday, October 22nd. Of course, at the end of the presentation, please do review our disclosures. We're going to go over swing trade notes here. I really want to be bearish, but some of the internals actually started improving last week. So, outside of the mess in Israel, I would think that we would have a little rally here. So I would expect, some kind of bounce the first of the week. But at the same time, Israel is going to go into Gaza, and that is going to be sort of like a black swan event. But, I wanted to look at, hey, what's trending kind of thing, what's going to trend, what we know is going to trend, because we know Israel's going into Gaza. So, oil really has a bullish case. However, the commercials have not really jumped on board yet. They probably will jump right on board as soon as Israel rolls in with the tanks. Now, gold also is clearly a flight to safety. Now, that's, GLD has the best correlation. That's what I would suggest. Now, Bitcoin, it appears that it's a flight to safety, but I really think what's going on is the volume has been coming from Hamas trying to raise capital for their defense, which is ironic that, that's now become a vehicle, for the other side in many different ways. But let's take a look at the dollar. I mean, basically, we're flat. We really have done nothing. So unless we push up, we shouldn't accelerate in either direction until the dollar does. So that's, so we're probably just going to be in this little box, I think, at least looking at the dollar. But right now, the count suggests that we're going to go lower first, down to 104, and then back up to about 105. Now, TLT, now this is our wave 3. Wave 4 is up around 89. And one thing I want to make note here is that how shallow our back test is off of a primary wave 3 here. We've extended. Okay, we're now well in, right at the base of the June 2003 resistance band at 82. If the Fed raises one more time, it probably puts us quite a little bit lower in the 70-75 range. So we could have some significant downside. So I'm really watching that bounce. I want to watch and see what my divergence is on the lower, shorter time frames and really keep an eye on that. But we should get some kind of bounce here. Now, earnings, we got just a huge earnings week. I wish I was more motivated to jump on board with some things here. I like Coca-Cola long. I like Alphabet and Microsoft long. However, Microsoft has a bearish looking chart. Google is the only one that doesn't. So right now, those are the three that I see on Tuesday that I really like. Now, when it comes down to Wednesday, I like Meta. ADP will give us an idea of what employment's like, I think. And then on Thursday, we have Amazon, UPS, Ford, Chipotle, Newmont as far as gold mining. So we'll see how they did. And then Friday, we have Exxon, Chevron as well, and Phillips 66. So I think our oil producers will do well. So, depending on what happens, I mean, if we get the move into Gaza, we get a little flush off of that. And then if we win after that and take a little bit of a bounce, then I'm going to be more comfortable chasing some of these earnings plays, because I really would like to chase, but I'm not going to chase in the Gaza environment because there's too much of a chance to get a swan event and spooks the market. So there's just too much of a risk there for me at the moment. But once we go into Gaza and we don't see any type of escalation and it calms down fairly quickly, then I might change my mind. All right. Now we have GLD, in on our hot list for longs, looking for maybe 202 from where we are. I think it continues to build as long as Israel is in the Gaza Strip, and I expect them to be there for a while. And it's more of a flight to safety coming from the Middle East and other parts of the world versus the United States. So, gold, GLD, it has the best correlation to spot gold. So now XOM, we're back, testing the breakout line again. Now, oil gets up above around 113, 115. XOM should take off pretty good, and it should give us our 3 around 127. And I would suspect if we have, I sort of drew out 3 scenarios here when I was looking at Gaza. One, the invasion happens, and then we dump shortly afterwards. Really the market response there is going to tell us. We get another, pop from the Gaza invasion too, and we don't stop until a ceasefire is in place. And then 3, Iran or Hezbollah joins Hamas, and we see $130 pretty quick. So I think the risk to the upside is, 10 or 15% because I don't know that we're going to get this to escalate. But realize it has a lot to do with Iran and whether or not they've decided this is a time to go to war, because you realize these are religious wars. So, that's something I can't predict. So that's my thoughts on Exxon. Now, also IWM is just manifesting. We should get down to maybe on our wave 3, about 164. Should get a decent bounce here. Again, look for these shallow retraces. We get no kind of retrace and we start rejecting higher prices. That's just going to extend the flushes. So that's what I'm seeing so far. Anything that is flushing is extended. Now, Qualcomm, I suspect on our next flush with the indices, this will catch cold and we'll finally get our breakdown. And then we'll be heading towards $90, $100 first, of course. So I think it's going to be in play fairly quickly. CBRE, is extended a little bit, maybe looking for 65 here. So we still got a little bit of room. Now, when we do get back up to that 71, I'm going to be saying, hey, it's time to reload and try it again, because we got quite a ways down here to $50 from where we are. So we got about $17 to the downside on this. So we should be in that a little while. Now, Airbnb is now finally moving, broke trends support. We're heading down for a 3 around 103. So we still got room. It's not too late to jump on board these. Stay right at the money, 60, 90 days out max on Airbnb. Do small pieces. Maybe even scatter plot it a little bit, like sort of a shotgun approach, and you should be able to catch some decent pieces of that. But don't go too deep. I like staying right around the money until it starts working for me, and then I add around the back test is what I ultimately like to do. Now, the S&P is telling me that we're going to come in around 420. However, in my opinion, we're overshooting that count already, so I have an alternate count down here with a 3, maybe around 405, 403 range. Then maybe we get a bounce there. So this would extend into a 5-wave down versus the 5-wave up. So the one thing about an intersection and Elliott wave, they're always crossroads. So, we always want to look for, hey, what's the other outcome if I'm wrong? Kind of thing. So what's telling me wrong here? This is a very aggressive flush. Usually we get the flush, we get to the bottom, then we back test and get this slow meandering 5. So this doesn't look like a 5 to me. So just, explaining my thought there. Looking at the NASDAQ, count suggests that we come in around 352. However, equality, if I measure this whole leg, comes in at 348.69. So that is where I left my label. I don't know why the NASDAQ likes equality. So we're going to go with that. All right. So now we get that breaks, this 23.6 breaks, then we're going to back test the 200. I would suspect that we fail if we get down that low. That's just my thought. There's just too much weight, I think, on the different indices. Now, it was really sort of an interesting, week with crypto. First of all, we thought it was all related to the SEC. Then I started seeing the information on the flight using Bitcoin to fund Hamas. And, ironically, it wasn't all Bitcoin. Link, APT, we're shining bright as well. So now I have positions in Link, but I don't have anything in APT or AAV. So now looking at Bitcoin, now, according to the count, it's in, and we're going to break down here right around 30,000. And we're going to get another chance to enter around 26,900. Now, that really depends. It sort of looks like it's going to confirm here. So that would mean one more high. It's confirming here on this high. So, maybe we do get up to 61.8 and then we come back. Maybe that count resets a little bit, but it wouldn't surprise me. If this was all driven by the SEC or news, as, Hamas trying to raise money, both those tailwinds will end in a short period of time, and then we'll be back to our normal chop. And notice that we are still in this band, this huge band where we are. So I think we're still here for a little while. Now we get the SEC resolution and they approve GBTC. That might be a different ball game. I'm hearing now, I read, watched a number of videos on Grayscale legal opinions on that. And, they're saying 12 to 18 months the SEC can delay without getting in any trouble. So, hey, that's okay with me. It's what, I'm in it to win it. So, right now with the potential of Bitcoin coming off, I would expect a back test of the breakouts at some point. But at the same time, GBTC has held price very well. Now, I also want to raise the fact that now our spread between spot and GBTC is down to 11%. So we don't have as much room to the upside at this point. And that's because everybody believes at this point it's going to become an ETF. So, all right, let's take a look at Ethereum. Now we're still in this sort of flat, back testing the last primary wave setup at 1517. Now I've added a second entry level and a third entry level based on the Fibonacci extensions. It's fairly broad here. I don't really like the look for a push or a squeeze to the upside. So again, this does not look as good as Bitcoin. Seems like when Bitcoin moves, Ethereum looks worse. When Bitcoin doesn't move, Ethereum looks better. I don't know if that made any sense, but hey, it's what it is. It's Sunday. I have an excuse. Now, XRP, I still like this. We're bouncing around. A lot of news still coming in on this. But I have no position on that at this point. But that's what we have for this week, folks. Great trading. Until